I grew up poor in the housing projects of Wilmington, North Carolina. My mother raised my brother and me by herself, working various jobs to make ends meet and to provide for us. I realized I was poor when I went to school. If you're just in your neighborhood and you only see the same things every day, we all seem to be the same. But in school, I realized I was different. One difference is that every Monday morning I would receive a free lunch ticket. I remember it being canary yellow, it had the school days across the top, and had circles around the days. Every time I would go through the lunch line and pick out that amazing cafeteria pizza with the fries or the cheeseburgers that were there that were really soy burgers, the cafeteria manager would punch a hole in that day, signifying that I had lunch that day. Only a few of us received those lunch tickets every Monday, and I realized that we were the poor kids in school. That didn't change my experience in school, though. I absolutely loved going to school. I excelled in mathematics. I thought mathematics was fun, and I had amazing teachers in each of my schools. They continued to encourage me and to push me and ask more of me and to push me more to be more in school. I also had wonderful social workers in school. I had social workers and counselors that knew I was a poor girl, but they made sure I had amazing activities after school, on weekends, and during our breaks. So when I think about school, I remember being a poor student. I remember loving school and feeling loved at school. But then I think about my experiences in the arts. And I only have 2 memories of the arts in my entire K through 12 education. One memory was 5th or 6th grade, can't remember which one. It was at Peabody Elementary School. And in 5th or 6th grade, I learned to play the recorder. It was cream and it was black. We learned how to take it apart. We learned how to clean it so it'd be ready for us. We just thought it was neat to clean it, but now I know it's important to clean it. We learned how to blow into it, and blowing into it made sound to me. But that teacher said, "That's music." My only other memory was in junior high school. In junior high school, I took a chorus class. I learned how to sit at the edge of a seat, stand erect, and be able to move my mouth and make shapes in certain ways to make sound. I also remember that teacher being very encouraging. I'm not a great singer, but I remember she made me feel special in that class. But it's sad to say, those are my only 2 memories of the arts in school. My love of the arts started when I became a high school math teacher. As a high school math teacher, I became best friends with the high school band director. During our relationship, I noticed that students would come to my class, and I tried my best to make it exciting. It was high school math. I love math. You should love math too. But those same students would leave my room and go to his room, and they would bounce into the door. They would almost leap for joy. They were so excited. They were happy going into band class. They were happy in band class, happy leaving band class. I was amazed. I would also see them perform. And in their performances, they were in their element. They exuded confidence, happiness, and enthusiasm. I didn't have that same feeling in my math class. So then I saw the power of the arts to change the lives of students. My love of the arts continued when I, as a math teacher, met and married my husband, who's an artist. So you might think, math teacher marrying an artist. Sounds like left brain and right brain, oil and water. Can they mix? Yes, they can. We've been married now for 19 years. A similar comparison exists in Indianapolis, where Indianapolis Public Schools has partnered with the Indy Arts community, as well as the mayor's office, to form Any Given Child Indy. Our partnership is facilitated by the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and we have one goal. Our goal is for all students in grades kindergarten through 8th grade, that they will have life-changing experiences in the arts. That's our only goal. When we united, we decided to, and facilitated by the Kennedy Center, to conduct surveys just to understand and receive baseline information. We surveyed all K-8 educators in the city, and we surveyed them for 3 reasons. The first reason was to establish a baseline of arts offerings in the schools. We knew that baseline could possibly also reveal to us any gaps that existed in arts education. That was our second goal. The third goal was to find out from the K-8 educators what are their attitudes about the arts. We were excited about the attitudes. 97% of the educators in the city said that art should be a major part of school. 94% of the 1,200 teachers that responded said that they would participate in professional development with arts integration if given the chance. We were very excited about that. We also identified there were gaps in arts education, and those gaps existed in two areas in our city, and they were theater and dance. The survey of the K-8 educators also revealed barriers. The very first barrier that we identified from that study was instructional time. The educators in the city were very dedicated to making sure our students were successful with the standards provided by the state of Indiana. The second barrier, you can probably guess, was funding. If only they were given more money, they would be able to integrate more arts. And the third gap was professional development. So 94% of them wanted professional development, but they said they could not find it. We were excited about the results there. Our second survey was given to the arts community. We wanted to find out in Indianapolis, in the arts community, three things. The first, to establish the baseline of their offerings in schools. We knew that could probably help us to identify any underserved schools. And the third reason for our survey was the perception of the arts community members and their dealings and workings in schools. That information shared with us that there are truly underserved schools where there are some schools that have 16 community partners, but only some other schools have 1 or 2 partners in the arts. We also found out that our agencies, the arts agencies in our city, they have budgets that range from $100,000 to $5 million, and each one provides money for arts education. But less than 10% of that money goes to IPS. From the arts community members, we identified the barriers as well. The very first barrier was the exact same barrier that the K-8 educators mentioned. It was instructional time. The artists were aware that teachers had to make sure that students were successful on the standardized tests that are given. The second barrier from the arts community member, the exact same barrier from the educators, funding. If I had more money, I would do more. The third and final barrier for the arts community members when we asked about expanding the arts was communication. They had a desire to communicate better with the educators. So we had the information, we were excited with the information. It also had us focused on our end goal, all K-8 students in Indianapolis having life-changing experiences in the arts. From that, we created an action plan. Let's create our plan that will guide us for the next 3 years. Then we developed implementation committees. Went out to the community to say, come join us and come help us fulfill this work. The implementation committees are really just 4 groups. These groups help us to focus our work and to accomplish our mission. The very first implementation committee is creative engagement. How can we continue to find creative ways to engage in the arts in the city? The second committee is professional development. 94% of the teachers wanted it. They couldn't find it. We said we could do it. The third was budget and resources. Funding, funding, funding. We said that we would address that head on. Collectively, we can do a lot. And the fourth implementation committee was measurement and evaluation. We wanted to measure the impact that we would have on our city and on our students. So armed with the information, having these worker bees ready to conduct the work, we selected 9 pilot schools to start with. And this event is a great venue for me to tell you the 9 pilots, but I can't. We will have a special ceremony for them to reveal their names to the principals and their communities as well. What I can tell you, though, there are 9 schools that really have gaps in the arts, but there are also 9 schools that really want to do more with the arts. So we're excited about that. In addition to having 9 pilots and potentially expanding that group till we get to all schools, I have a personal goal for any given child Indy. So I can share with you several things that I experienced as a young poor girl growing up in Wilmington, North Carolina, when it comes to my core academics. But as you heard, I can only share 2 things in the arts. My personal goal for Any Given Child Indy is that our students will graduate having amazing experiences in academics. I am the Deputy Superintendent for Academics. But I also want them to have more than just 2 experiences in the arts. I want them to reflect on their time in school and say that they had amazing, life-changing experiences with the arts while in school in Indianapolis. If you want to join us in our work, please visit our website, which is Any Given Child Indy. Our partnership, this collaboration, will do amazing things for our city, but also for our students in all grades, kindergarten through 8th grade. Thank you for your support, and please continue to watch the great things that will happen with the arts in Indianapolis. Thank you.